This picture is inside an old church, and I love the rusticness of the look of this chair. So uh, the fact that it casts a little bit of a shadow made it kind of interesting for me. And when I look at things like this, I sometimes think in terms of black and white. And so I definitely had black and white in mind when I shot this. And so what I'll do is I'll tap on this little pencil thing here, which will bring up the tune images. And immediately I'll go in and place my finger right on the screen. And I like to go to ambience and kind of give myself a little bit of a, see if I can get it to give me a little bit more tonality. Um, so yeah, I kind of like that. And I'll click on the little checkbox. And then I'm going to click on the little pencil again and then go automatically all the way down towards black and white. And it'll turn it right into black and white. And I can also go in and I can increase contrast or brightness. So I'll increase the contrast a little bit. That's pretty good. And maybe the brightness to brighten up the back wall a little bit. Maybe not. Okay, and I'll click the little checkbox. And I like to give the black and white a little bit of a kind of a color tint. If I click that little pencil and I scroll all the way down towards the bottom again, down towards the bottom, there's this little category called vintage. And vintage, if I click on this little sort of book thing right here, I get a whole wide variety of different kinds of colors. And I tend to go towards the browns or kind of a neutral color. So I'll warm it up a little bit. Maybe give it a sepia tone. So I clicked on number 3 here, and then I just click on the little down arrow so I can go back in here and make some adjustments. There's also this other thing just to the left of the word brightness, and I can kind of give it a, it's got a little blur, blur on, blur off. I'll just leave the blur off. I'll click the checkbox. And whenever, as you're going through progress-wise, if I just place my finger right on the picture, here's what it originally started with, and here's where I'm gotten to so far. I want to snap up the contrast, so I'm going to tap on details, and I'm going to increase the details. Now that's kind of looking pretty interesting. I love a lot of times what details will do. I'll click on the little checkbox there. And I notice that chair over on the left, a little bit distracting. I'm just going to crop away that just a little bit. I'm going to simplify it a little bit more. Say OK. And now it's starting to look a lot more like maybe I had intended it. I'm going to click the little pencil again. And I'm going to go back into Tune Image again, because you can go back and forth between these things. And you just increase the contrast just a little bit. And then maybe I want to increase the brightness. So I increase the brightness and the contrast just a little bit. I'll click the little checkbox and put my finger on it, and I can see where it's going. And I really like those shadows that are cast against the wall from the chair itself. I think that adds a little bit of interest. And let me go in and play with the crop tool again. Just crop a little bit more, and then maybe crop up and maybe off of the top. Because I can always go back and I can rearrange these things. So now you can see where I've cropped it, just to see if it gave it a little bit more stronger a stronger look. Because I want to emphasize the shadows on the back wall. And let me put my finger on there. And I get all this really nice kind of interesting texture on the seat of the chair. So I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. I'm going to try one other little thing here. I'm going to tap that little pencil again. I'm going to go down to Vignette. And Vignette lets me darken the corners. And I'll leave it maybe right about there. Click the little checkbox. And then here I can go back and forth and see what I've done. And so now, by going in and vignetting it, it gives me more of an emphasis on the lighting towards the center, and which is really what I wanted. And it also de-emphasizes the chair that was over on the left-hand side there too. So now, what I can do is I can click on Save, and it will save a copy that goes right to right onto my camera roll here on Android. And then if I also wanted to, I can also click on that little number, and I can actually go back in time essentially. And like in this case right here, if I didn't want to do the vignette, I could trash it. And same thing here with the crop. If I didn't want to do the crop, I can either go back in and readjust the crop, and I'll undo that, or I could just totally trash it too. And you can see right there that I find that the fact that chair is over on the left-hand side just kind of a little bit on the distracting side.